Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ma'am. We are the group 5 and we are tasked to report the chapter 10 First Homecoming 1887 to 1888. Learning objectives. First, explain the reasons why Rizal went back to the Philippines. Second, identify who are the attackers and defenders of Noli. Third, elaborate the findings submitted by Rizal. Introduction. All the alluring beauties of foreign countries and all the beautiful memories of his sojourn in alien lands could neither make Rizal for his fatherland nor turn his back to his own nationality. He remained at heart a true Filipino with an unquenchable love for the Philippines and an unshakable determination to die in the land of his birth. So this is the old Rizal's house in Calamba, Laguna. Decision to return home. Because of the publication of Noli Me Tangere and the uproar it caused among the friars, Rizal was warned by Pasiano, his brother, Silvestre Ubaldo, his brother-in-law, Chingoy, Jose M. Cecilio, and other friends to return home. He was determined to return to the Philippines for the following reasons: to operate on his mother's eyes, to serve his people who had long been oppressed by the Spanish tyrants, to find out for himself how the Noli and his other writings were affecting the Filipinos and Spaniards in the Philippines, to inquire while Leonor Rivera remained silent. On June 29, 1887, in Rome, Rizal wrote to his father announcing his homecoming. So the delightful trip to Manila. On July 3, 1887, he boarded the steamer Dimna, the same steamer which brought him to Europe 5 years ago. There were about 50 passengers, including 4 Englishmen, 2 Germans, 3 Chinese, 2 Japanese, many Frenchmen, and 1 Filipino, which is Rizal. So Rizal was the one among the passengers who could speak many languages, so that he acted as interpreter for his companions. On arrival on Manila, on August 5, the Haipong arrived in Manila. He stayed in the city for a short time. He found Manila the same as when he left it 5 years ago. So this is Pasiano, Silvestre Ubaldo, and Jose Cecilio. Happy homecoming. On August 8, he returned to Calamba, Laguna. His family welcomed him affectionately with plentiful tears of joy. His family became worried about his safety. Pasiano did not leave him to protect him from any enemy assault. In Calamba, Rizal established a medical clinic. His first patient was his mother, who was almost blind. News of the arrival of a great doctor from Germany spread far and wide. Patients from Manila and other provinces flocked to Calamba. He was called Dr. Uliman because he came from Germany. Within a few months, he was able to earn 900 pesos as a physician. By February 1888, he earned a total of 5,000 pesos as medical fees. Rizal did not selfishly devote all his time to enriching himself. He opened a gymnasium for young folks and introduced European sports. He failed to see Leonora Rivera. Leonora's mother did not like him to be son-in-law.
Storm over Noli. Few weeks after his arrival, Rizal received a letter from Governor General Emilio Terrero requesting him to come to Malacañang Palace. When Governor General Terrero informed him of the charge, he denied it, explaining that merely exposed the truth, but he did not advocate subversive ideas. Governor General Terrero was pleased by Rizal's explanation, curious about his book, and he asked the author to have a copy of the Noli so that he could read it. Rizal had no copy then because the only copy that he brought home was given to a friend, but he promised to secure one for the general. Fortunately, Rizal found a copy and gave it to General Terrero. He knew that Rizal's life was jeopardy because the friars were powerful. For security measures, he assigned a young Spanish lieutenant, Don Jose Tavel de Andrade, as bodyguard of Rizal. But Rizal's enemies were powerful. The Archbishop of Manila, Messenger Payo, sent a copy of the Noli to Father Rector Gregorio Echeverria of the University of Santo Tomas for examination by a committee of the faculty. The report of the faculty members of UST stated that the Noli was heretical and impious and scandalous, and the religious order, an anti-patriotic, subversive of public order, injurious to the government of Spain and its function and the Philippine island and the political order. Archbishop of Manila Messenger Pedro Payo and Father Rector Gregorio Echeverria. Pedro Payo was the 24th Archbishop of Manila who took charge on 1876 till his death 1889. He adorned and improved the new Manila Cathedral, which was completed during his term in 1879. Father Salvador Font, Augustinian Cora of Toledo. Attackers of Noli. Father Font printed his report and distributed copies of it in order to discredit the controversial novel. Father Jose Rodriguez, prior of Guadalupe, published a series of 8 pamphlets under the general heading Cuestiones de Sumo Interés, questions of supreme interest, to blast the Noli and other anti-Spanish writings. The 8 pamphlets. 1. Why should I not read them? 2. Beware of them. Why? 3. And what can you tell me about plague? 4. Why do the impetuous triumph? 5. Do you think there is really no purgatory? 6. Is there or is there no hell? 7. What do you think of these labels? 8. Confession or damnation?
Founders of Noli. There are 4 Filipino reformers in foreign land. First is Marcelo H. del Pilar. He was a writer, lawyer, and a Philippines revolutionary propagandist. Marcelo, together with Rizal and Graciano Lopez Haina, became known to be the leaders of the reform movement in Spain. Second is Antonio Maria Regidor. He was also a lawyer, diplomat, and propagandist. Despite being of Spanish parentage, Regidor supported the secularization movement and the nationalist propaganda. Third is Graciano Lopez Haina. Commonly known, Graciano Lopez A. Haina was a Filipino journalist, orator, reformist, and national hero who is well known for his newspaper, La Solidaridad. Fourth is Mariano Ponce. He was a Filipino physician, writer, and active member of the propaganda movement. In Spain, he was among the founders of La Solidaridad, an association Mexicano-Filipino. Next is Father Sanchez Rizal's favorite at Ateneo. Defended praised it in public. The Spanish Jesuit praise was Rizal's favorite professor in Ateneo or in literature. It was under Father Sanchez that Rizal learned the Greek and Latin classics. Next is Rizal Antalvel Andrade. He was the first lieutenant and artillery and the younger lieutenant Jose Tavel de Andrade, who was Ben Jose Rizal's bodyguard and friend. Tavel was chosen by Rizal to be his lawyer. What married Rizal's happy days in Calamba with Andrade were: first is the death of his older sister Olympia. Olympia Rizal's on 1855 to 1887 was Jose Rizal's Mercado sister. She was the fourth child in the Rizal Mercado family. She was married to Silvestre Obaldo and died of the childbirth in 1887. Next is the groundless tale circulated by his enemies, and he was a German spy, a Protestant, a Mason and a watch, a soul beyond salvation, and etc. This picture is Calamba Hacienda. Ownership of the hacienda was transferred from the Jesuits to the Dominicans after the former's expulsion in 1768. The land rent canon was the source of tension between the friars and their inquilinos. Dominican Order's justification. The Dominican Order maintained that the proceeds of their haciendas will be used to transport its members from the peninsula to the Philippines. The haciendas will be cultivated and improved in order to transport religious from Spain to the Philippines. These are the findings submitted by Rizal. The hacienda of Dominican Order comprised not only the lands around Calamba, but the whole town of Calamba. Second, the profits of the Dominican Order continually increased because of the arbitrary increase of the rentals paid by the tenants. Third is, the hacienda owner never contributed a single centavo for the celebration of the town fiesta, for the education of the children, and for the improvement of agriculture. Fourth, the tenants who spent much labor in clearing the lands were disposed of the said lands for flimsy reasons. Fifth, high rates of interest were arbitrarily charged the tenants for the delayed payment of rentals. And the last is when the rentals could not be paid, the hacienda management confiscate the work, animals, tools, and farm implements of the tenants. My explanation is about sa mga yuta nga dagko kayo nga mga hectares, nakabutang rin ang isa ka hacienda owner mag-contribute og bisag isa ka center para festa or para pag-eskwela sa mga bata. Ug kung dili man gani mapay ng isa ka hacienda, ma-confiscate na siya sa gobyerno kauban na ang tanang gamit sa hacienda ug mga kahayupan. So these are the reasons why Rizal's leaving the Philippines. First is his presence in Calamba was jeopardizing the safety and happiness of his family and friends. Sa iyang kayang presensya kinaman sa Calamba, he wants kung asa siya malipayan kauban sa pamilya o mga amigo, dito sila tanan. So this is the first reasons of Jose Rizal. Second is, he could not fight better his enemies and serve his countries because the greater efficacy by writing in foreign countries. Sa iyang mga kontra, dili siya musukol or mo against kay ipagir niya sa iyang pag-awa sa pagsulat kabayan sa laing nasod, and this is the second reasons why Rizal's living in the Philippines. Hemno al Trabajo, a poem for Lipa shortly before Rizal left in 1888. He was asked by a friend to write a poem in commemoration of the town's secure. Himno al Trabajo, or Hymn to Labor, title of the poem dedicated to the industrious people of Lipa. So this Hymn al Trabajo was open was a written by Rizal and it is requested by his friend from Lipa, Batangas on January 1888 and it was dedicated from the people of Lipa. Last is the Farewell Philippines. On February 3, 1888, Rizal left his country with a heavy heart, but this is for his own good and the safety of his family and friends. The friars exerted pressure of the Malacanang Palace to eliminate Rizal. They asked Governor General Terry Roth to deport Rizal, but he refused because there was no valid charge against Rizal in court. Anonymous threats against Rizal's life were received by his parents. They alarmed parents, relatives, and friends, advised him to leave the Philippines for his life was in danger. Rizal had to go, but he was running like a coward from a fight. He was courageous, a fact which his worst enemies could not deny. He was not afraid of any man, and neither he was afraid to die, and that's all.